We have the Jewish Jordan on the line. Welcome to the Scott Emo Show, Tamir Goodman. Baruch Hashem Manishma.
Thank God, everything is great. Thank you so much for having me.
So you grew up in an Orthodox household with 6 brothers and 2 sisters. Besides chaos, what were your Shabbat dinners like?
Shabbat dinner was always the best. At our house, we always had a lot of guests and friends, and it was a time to kind of forget about the day-to-day hassle of life and just enjoy each other's presence, and a time to reflect on some of the more spiritual aspects of life and have a good time. And that incredible feeling of Shabbat that I got as a kid and enjoyment is something that was instilled in me at a young age, and I live with and look forward to every Shabbat till today.
Very nice. So you have 8 people in your family, 9 including you. Do you have a favorite sibling?
No, I love everybody in my family the same. Each one is special in their own way. I have been blessed, and I'm very appreciative to have been brought up in the family that I was brought up with, and very grateful for that, and love everybody in my family.
So your parents must have been extraordinarily busy with that household. What did they do for a living?
My father, of blessed memory, he was a lawyer. He was an angel in every way. He was just absolutely incredible. There's just no words to ever describe my father, how just incredible he was. And my mother, she was a beautician, and she had kind of her own beauty salon. And she's retired now. But there's no doubt that everything, that I was able to go through in my life was because of the support of my family and my parents, and I was very lucky to grow up in the way that I grew up, because it was very different. I kind of took a different track than most of my friends. I'm an Orthodox Jew that graduated from predominantly African-American Christian school. I roomed with a Muslim basketball player in college, and then I went on to play professionally with people from all over the world. And most of my friends didn't really choose athletics or choose basketball as their career choice, but my parents and family are always there to support me, even though it was a little different than most of the kids grew up in our area did.
That's cool. So you said you had a roommate. He was a Muslim. So being a Jew and then also rooming with a Muslim, there's obviously on the exterior a lot of stereotypes and a lot of conflict between Muslims and Jews. How was your relationship with your roommate, and where did the beginning, and then how did your...
We've always had a great relationship, and we still do till today. I think that one of the most holy things, one of the greatest things about sport is that it has the power to unite people of different backgrounds and cultures and break down any stereotypes or differences that people may have. When you come on the court, you're almost like one family. And I think that basketball was a great gift for me in that way, that I was able to be in company of so many different people with so many different backgrounds and affiliations and different places around the world, and kind of unite with so many different people. I think that's one of the most incredible things about sport and basketball in general. And Muhammad was a great friend of mine, and we're still in touch till today. So I think that's one of the unique things about basketball, and that's one of the main reasons why I love the game so much.
So when was the first time you picked up a basketball?
Probably when I was about 5 or 6 years old. That's when I really fell in love with the game. I think when I was in 10th grade, the summer of 10th grade was the first time that I realized that God had blessed me enough to compete with other Division I prospects, and that playing college basketball and professional basketball might actually become a real reality. Up until that point, I always loved the game and dedicated a lot of time and effort to it, but it was almost impossible for me to play in college, Division I, or professional, because I don't play basketball on the Jewish Sabbath from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, and knowing that colleges and in the pros, they play on the Sabbath, it was kind of going to be a big challenge for me moving forward. But I continued to pray hard and to play hard, and ultimately was blessed with several miracles so that I was able to live out my dream and play college and professional basketball without ever having to play on the Jewish Sabbath. And I'm very appreciative to my friends, family, coaches, teammates, everyone that helped me to be able to live out my dream along the way.
Right on. That must have been a difficult situation because I know you declined the scholarship from Maryland because of the Jewish Sabbath on Friday and Saturday, and conflicting with your beliefs and also with the program's kind of schedule. Anything you could share with us about what happened behind the closed doors and how that conversation came about and how they maybe weren't willing to work with you, or whatever you can fill us in on would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I never said anything bad about the University of Maryland, and I never will. I rooted for them my whole life. And, you know, I'm happy that they won the national championship when they did. And, you know, it seemed like at the time it was better for both parties to move forward, move in a different direction. And I had nothing bad to say about them. I was very grateful that Towson University changed the schedule for me and allowed me to live out my dream and without having to play on the Sabbath. And I'm very grateful that worked out for me. And there's almost every single day of my life I think back and say, wow, how appreciative I am that I got to do that, and how appreciative I am to the coaching staff at Towson for going out of their way and teammates to help me out. So I always kind of look at how well everything always works out instead of looking in the opposite direction.
I respect that, because then you look at it as not a problem, but you look for a solution. So with that being said, Tamir, you played professionally overseas in Israel. One, was that a dream come true for you to play in Israel? And two, did you ever want or think that you wanted to play in the NBA, and whatever happened to actually playing in the NBA?
Yeah, absolutely. Playing in Israel was a dream come true for me. Everyone got to write what they want to be when they grow up in our 7th grade yearbook, and I wrote, I want to be a professional basketball player in Israel when I grow up. I got to live out my dream. That was my goal, to play professionally in Israel. I participated in an NBA camp. I got a chance to play against a lot of players that did play in the NBA and that are in the NBA, and that was a great experience for me. But ultimately, I really wanted to play and live in Israel, and it was a remarkable opportunity for me. I also got a chance to serve in the Israeli army. I met my wife in Israel. Going to Israel was also like an incredible educational platform for myself and my teammates, because I was an American, but at the same time I'm Jewish and I speak both languages. So a lot of American players come to play in Israel every year, and a lot of them are not Jewish. And I felt like being in Israel together with them was like a good opportunity to not just be in another random place where you're playing basketball, but to educate them about Israel and go to the holy sites with them and make it more meaningful experience for them. And those relationships were very special and are special till today.
So you mentioned that you were in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. Kind of break down, what was that experience like for you? You know, being a professional basketball player, you must have had a lot of cool opportunities, comps, you know, kind of a cooler lifestyle. But when you join the Army, I mean, it's a different experience. Can you help break down what the experience was like for you?
Yeah, being in the Israeli Army was a great honor for me. My grandparents were Holocaust survivors. My grandmother, thank God, is still alive, a Holocaust survivor. And I know the sacrifices that they went through in their life to get to Israel. And just to be a part of that was just so special for me in every way. Because not that long ago, Hitler decided that there weren't going to be any Jewish people left in the world. And ultimately, we were able to get back to our homeland. And thank God, it's a thriving country now. And just to be able to be a part of defending it in any way is a great honor for me. Basketball did come into play. Excuse me. I did coach our base in our Army basketball league, which was fun. But a lot of the same things that you need in basketball, you need in the Army. Just discipline and work ethic and paying attention to detail. I specialize in armor personnel carriers. I have a certified mechanic in the Israeli Army to fix the armor personnel carriers. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I got to do that as well.
That's cool. Do you feel that the U.S. and Obama, do you feel like they support Israel? Do you feel like we support Israel? In your opinion?
I feel that there's a very close relationship between America and Israel, and I think that America and Israel are on the same page. United, Israel is a democratic society, and Israel is very strong against the war on terrorism. And I know that a lot of amazing things come out of Israel that benefit the whole world, and I think that Americans appreciate that in the realm of medical and technology, and a lot of incredible things are coming out of Israel. And a lot of people, here in America benefit from that, and I think that people realize that. So I try not to focus so much on the negative things that sometimes come out of Israel in the media. I try to focus on the positive things that amazing country has benefited all of us. So
cool. That's a cool perspective to have. So if you had one advice for somebody that wanted to follow their dreams, stay committed to their faith, their values, what advice would you give them?
Persistence. You have to continue. You're going to get knocked down many times along the way. A lot of people are going to say negative things about you, but if you have a strong identity, you could always keep going forward. You know who you are. You know what you're trying to accomplish. You know what your intentions are along the way, and you have the blueprint and the guidelines you need to get there. So it's not a negative thing. It's always a positive thing. If you have a strong spirituality, it gives you the guidance that you need to get where you want to go. Whereas people that may just do things to fulfill their own narcissistic desires or something like that, they may not be able to have that same drive and the same guidelines and motivation and higher purpose. So I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing. Sometimes it's portrayed that way. In my life, personally, I've experienced that it's been positive for me, whether I've been doing good or I've been doing bad. Whatever the situation is, I kind of feel like I always had my roadmap, and so that was very beneficial for me.
Awesome. And then where can people find you now, and what are you up to today? Give us your website, your Twitter handle, Facebook, everything. Let people know how they can get in contact with you.
My website is TamirGoodman.com. My Twitter is @TamirGoodman.com. My Facebook is Tamir Goodman Athlete. What am I up to now? I just wrote a book called with my wife called The Jewish Jordan's Triple Threat. It's published by Diversion Books in New York City. You could get the book on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or TamirGoodman.com or Diversion Books. It's a book about the physical, mental, and spiritual lessons from basketball called The Jewish Jordan's Triple Threat. I also work with an Israeli NBA player. His name is Omri Kaspi, and we do a lot of basketball camps. And I'm also involved in several startups, in sports-based startups. And having fun every day. I got a wife and 4 kids and living every day to the fullest.
Very cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time for coming on the show, Tamir. I wish you the best of luck on everything. Stay blessed, my friends, and anything you would like to say to the people.
Thank you very much, and warm regards to everybody. Thank you for thinking of me.
We have the Jewish Jordan on the line. Welcome to the Scott Emo Show, Tamir Goodman. Baruch Hashem Manishma.
Thank God, everything is great. Thank you so much for having me.
So you grew up in an Orthodox household with 6 brothers and 2 sisters. Besides chaos, what were your Shabbat dinners like? Do you have a favorite sibling?
No, I love everybody in my family the same. Each one is special in their own way. I have been blessed, and I'm very appreciative to have been brought up in the family that I was brought up with, and very grateful for that, and love everybody. Shabbat dinner was always the best. At our house, we always had a lot of guests and friends, and it was a time to kind of forget about the day-to-day hassle of life and just enjoy each other's presence, and a time to reflect on some of the more spiritual aspects of life in my family.
So your parents must have been extraordinarily busy with that household. What did they do for a living?
My father, of blessed memory, he was a lawyer. He was an angel in every way. He was just absolutely incredible. There's just no words to ever describe my father, how just taste and have a good time. And that incredible feeling of Shabbat that I got as a kid and enjoyment is something that was instilled in me at a young age, and I live with and look forward to every Shabbat till today.
Very nice. So you have 8 people in your family, 9 including you.